Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
What'd you say your name is, soldier?
Gallagher. That's my name.
All right, Gallagher. Now, don't you think you've had enough? It isn't even night yet.
I'll never have enough.
You plan to show up at the fort this drunk?
Lady, maybe I won't show up at the fort at all. Now, what do you think of that?
Gallagher, you better start worrying about what Captain Shaw's going to think, not her.
Hey, what are you doing here, Spear?
I've been an hour looking for you all over Dodge. How'd you get that drunk in an hour, anyways?
Drinking!
Are you responsible for this?
Oh, sure. The Indians pay me to keep you soldiers drunk.
That ain't funny.
He's a grown man, isn't he?
That's not the point.
What's the point?
You shut up, Gallagher. We'll be an hour late now, and that's all Captain Shaw needs to fix us.
Captain Shaw can go hang.
You wasn't so drunk I'd leave you and just ride out alone.
Yeah, that'd be just like you, Spear. Just like you.
Come on, get up out of that chair. I'll drag you out.
Oh, leave me be.
Come on.
I ain't have started here yet. Cut your peaches, gal. Thunder ain't rain.
Shut up, Gallagher.
Why don't you listen to your friend? You're just going to get into trouble here.
Who's kissing your hand anyway?
That's no way to talk.
Why, I'll kill you for that.
Beat your drunk.
Matt, make him stop.
All right. You want the same treatment, soldier? Huh? I had nothing to do with it, Marshal.
What?
He was drunk.
And you're cold sober.
Of course I am.
It's true, Matt. He just came in looking for him on the floor there, Gallagher.
I'll take your gun, soldier.
Oh, you can't do this, Marshal.
All right, now pick up your friend. We're going to
Matt,
jail.
listen to me. Gallagher started it. He was only trying to get him out of here. Back to the fort.
You can take him back tomorrow. Fighting's against the law in Dodge.
No, Matt.
Come on, let's get going, soldier. Pick him up. The past week, we'd had nothing but trouble in Dodge. Men had fought and gouged and knifed and shot each other till I began to wonder if they gave a thought to anything else in the world. It had set my temper on edge, and I suppose I'd become as bull-headed as they were. Anyway, I threw the soldiers in jail and went off to supper and forgot about them. For some reason, the town was reasonably peaceful that night. The change sort of took the edge off of me. Next morning, I felt half human for the first time in days.
I turned that cowboy loose early, Mr. Dillon. He seemed tolerably repentant.
Well, he should be, Chester.
But those two soldiers look pretty glum. What are you going to do with them, sir?
Oh, yeah. Well, you better go back and let him out, huh, Chester? We'll have the Army in here looking for him if we don't.
Yes, sir. You done your time, man. The law has forgiven you. Out you go, free as little birds.
Oh, that sunlight will blind me this morning.
We ain't about done our time, mister. In real trouble now.
Oh, why do you say that?
'Cause it's true. We were sent to Dodge to pick up supplies, not to go to jail.
You're not the first soldiers who've camped here overnight. Colonel Doby's a just man.
Captain Shaw's in command right now, Marshal. Colonel went to St. Louis for a time.
Well, I don't know, Captain Shaw, but I'm sure...
He's just about as reasonable as you are, Marshal. Just about.
You're Spear, aren't you?
And I was as sober yesterday, remember?
I locked you up for fighting, not drinking.
You locked us up. That's all that matters now.
Spear's right, Marshal. I guess I deserve what I'm going to get, but Spear don't.
Yeah, nobody was killed. You're not going to hang.
You don't know Captain Shaw. He can be awful hard.
A little extra duty won't hurt you.
First off, we'll be fined $10 by court martial.
1 month's pay.
Yeah, that's a little high, I agree.
There's nothing to what the Cap might do on top of it. He's old Army. They say one time he gave a man 10 days' provisions and had him drummed out of camp with a straw halter around his neck and his coat turned inside out.
And that was Indian country, Marshal, not around here.
Well, the man's a scoundrel, that's what he is. Say, how'd the fellow make out, anyway?
You'll have to ask Captain Shaw about that, if he knows.
Well, the man must have done more than get drunk and fight. You won't get that kind of punishment.
No, but close to it. Captain's dead set against liquor. Not a man in the company's been allowed to drop since Colonel Dopey left.
Is that so?
Sure is. Look, Marshal, I got it coming, but Spear here, all he done was try to get me back to the fort. You got to try to do something about it.
Never mind, Gallagher. He won't do nothing.
Spear, I guess I was a little hasty locking you up. I'm sorry about it.
So am I.
All right. What can I do?
Ride out and explain it to Captain Shaw.
I don't like interfering in Army matters. But, all right, I'll do it.
You will?
Yeah, but I can't today. Well, tomorrow won't be too late. I'll be out there tomorrow afternoon.
I don't know whether to trust you or not, Marshal.
Then you'll have to find out if you can, Mr. Spear.
Yeah.
You can't blame him much, Marshal, but I sure hope you do it.
All right, boys, you're late enough now. You better get going.
Come on, Spear.
While you're talking to Captain Shaw, I think I'll go see the sutler, Mr. Dillon. He's an old friend of mine.
All right, Chester.
Name's Larson. Been selling goods to soldiers for 10 years that I know of. Say, I'll eat with him, too, in case you should get asked to supper.
Oh, fine. Say, doesn't that look like Spear there?
Where?
Just outside the fort there, the man with the shovel.
Oh, yeah. Say, what's he digging anyway?
Come on, let's ride over there. Hello, Spear.
You're too late, Marshal.
Why? What's happened?
We've already been tried, that's what.
Well, what'd they give you?
2 months' pay and a month's punishment.
What punishment?
I don't know, Marshal. The captain will work on that from day to day. He's got lots of ideas.
Is this one of them? Digging that hole out here?
This isn't exactly a hole, mister. It's a grave.
A grave? Whose grave?
Mine.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Spear.
Well, it's for me or somebody like me. That's what he said. Ask him about. There comes the guard. I gotta keep busy.
All right, I'll talk to you later, Spear.
I won't be hard to find.
And that's the whole story, Captain. I locked Spear up, too, and for no justifiable reason at all.
He was fighting, wasn't he, Marshal?
He was trying to get Gallagher out of there, that's all.
I have already decided Gallagher's punishment will be the more severe.
Yeah, but Spear doesn't deserve any punishment at all. Don't you see that?
If I may ask, Marshal, what is your interest in this case?
Look, I made a mistake, Captain. If I hadn't thrown Spear in jail, he'd be all right now. The man's been done an injustice.
Not exactly. He'd have been an hour late in any case.
What?
He and Gallagher had orders to report here to Lieutenant Adams at 6 o'clock. But at 6 o'clock, they were arrested in Dodge. If they had not been arrested, it would have taken them an hour to ride to the fort. Therefore, they would have reported in at 7 o'clock, 1 hour late.
Oh, but Captain Spear spent that hour trying to find Gallagher.
A soldier must learn to take care of himself, Marshal. Evidently, Spear hasn't learned. So it's my duty to teach him.
This just doesn't make sense.
I am a soldier, Marshal. You are a civilian. I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Anybody can understand what's just.
The Army has its own justice, Marshal.
Like making a man dig his own grave.
Oh, you saw him. Of course. Gallagher's digging one behind the fort.
Why?
Sentimental reasons, I suppose. Of mine, to be sure.
What does that mean?
It goes back a long way, Marshal. You see, I served under General Winfield Scott at Veracruz in 47. And I remember an order he once sent down, and it concerned soldiers who'd been found drunk.
Now, don't tell me General Scott had them shot.
No. His idea was to impress upon the command that such a grave would be wanted sooner or later, either for the drunken man or for some drunken companion.
And did the soldiers understand that?
Soldiers understand orders, Marshal. Or they can be made to.
Tell me, Captain, what do you think Colonel Doby would do about this?
In Colonel Doby's absence, I am in command of this company.
Then Spear will be punished even though he's innocent, huh?
This is an Army matter, Marshal.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Marshal.
Marshal Dillon.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm Lieutenant Adams.
Oh, how do you do, Lieutenant?
I'm the officer Spear and Gallagher were to report to night before last.
Oh, yeah, the captain mentioned that.
Tell me, how'd you make out in there?
Well, I don't think Captain Shaw and I understand each other completely.
I knew it was hopeless. Thanks for trying, Marshal.
Tell me something, Lieutenant. What's the matter with Captain Shaw?
I couldn't say, Marshal. But he's been 30 years in the Army.
So?
Colonel Doby's been in 10.
Oh, I see.
Will you join us at mess, Marshal? We eat in about 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to, if you don't mind.
Sorry I can't offer you a drink. Captain's orders.
Yeah, I know. Lieutenant, when does Colonel Doby get back from St. Louis?
We haven't heard. Soon, I hope.
Yeah.
You see, Gallagher can take it. He knows he's guilty, for one thing. Spear, I'm worried about. Already, he's not the same man he was.
Yeah, I suppose he's lost faith in people.
He was always a fine soldier. I just hope he can hang on long enough.
No? Long enough for what?
Oh, let's say long enough for Colonel Doby to get back before Captain Shaw drives Spear to something like... Come along, Marshal. We'll wash up.
I was pretty busy the next few days, and there wasn't much time to think about Spear. But when I did think about him, I got to wishing I'd never let myself be hired for this job. Nearly a week passed, and then one day, about noon, I went to the office and found Kitty waiting there with Chester.
I told her you'd be along any minute, Mr. Dillon.
That's nothing serious, I hope, Kitty.
Well, it could be, Matt.
She wouldn't tell me a word about it. I offered to help, but no, she said. She'd wait until you got here and then...
All right, Chester. Well, Kitty.
Matt, this morning, about 8 o'clock it was, I was...
Wait a minute. Lieutenant Adams.
Hello, Marshal. Chester?
Hello, Lieutenant.
This is Miss Kitty, Lieutenant.
Oh, yes, of course. I didn't recognize you, Miss Kitty.
That's all right, Lieutenant.
I'll be brief, Marshal. It's about Spear. He's deserted.
What?
Last night, just before chow.
How'd you get away?
Well, Captain Shaw hasn't had those men guarded very close. They're still digging graves, and with only one guard for the two of them. Spear took off when the guard was at the back of the fort near Gallagher, and so...
Well, have they found him yet?
No. But the captain has the whole company out after him. I just posted a couple of men at the depot. Most everyone else is fanned out over the prairie, horseback.
You think maybe the captain wanted him to run off, Lieutenant? Maybe that's why he made it so easy, huh?
A lieutenant doesn't judge his captain, Marshal. But I'm worried about Spear. He might do anything now.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be interested, so I just dropped by to let you know what's happened.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant.
There's something else, Marshal.
What?
Captain Shaw has ordered me to search the town.
Oh?
He's sending me 2 more men. I hope you won't object.
Well, ordinarily I would, but I understand.
Thank you, Marshal. Goodbye, Miss Kitty.
Goodbye.
Chester?
Bye, Lieutenant.
Matt, that's what I came to tell you about. Spear's hiding in my room.
What? Since when?
This morning, he showed up about 8 o'clock. Said he has to hide during the day. He promised to leave tonight.
But why did he come to you?
Well, he remembered I tried to keep him from being arrested that day, and he said I was the only person he could trust.
Oh, I see.
I don't know what to do, Matt.
Is he armed, Kitty?
Yeah. Yes, he's armed. And he said if anyone but me tried to get in the room, he'd kill him. He's awful desperate, Matt.
Yeah. He's got to turn himself in, Kitty.
After the way he's been treated...
They'll catch him anyway, sooner or later. He's got to face this thing on his own free will. If he doesn't, it'll ruin him inside. He won't be any good again. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do.
All right, then go tell him.
I can't, Matt. I'm not a man. He wouldn't listen to me.
All right, I'll go.
You can't. He'll shoot you as soon as you open that door.
Well, look, you'll have to help us trick him, Kitty.
No, please, Matt. He trusts me.
You want to help him, don't you?
Yeah. All right.
Chester, go out and buy a big bag of groceries and hurry.
Groceries? Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
We'll wait for you here. Stay off of your heels, Chester. Quiet. All right, you go ahead, Kitty. We'll be there when he opens the door.
All right, Matt. It's me, Kitty. Open the door. I can't hold all these groceries much longer.
All right, come on in quick.
Take this. My arm's breaking.
All right, I got it. Hey!
All right, close the door, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Come over here and take his gun away from him.
I got it, sir.
All right. All right, now get up. I said get up. Now sit in that chair. And don't try anything.
I hope you're real proud, Kitty.
Now, wait a minute, Spear. Nobody's betrayed you. We're trying to help you, that's all.
Why don't you just shoot me, Marshal, and have it over with?
Spear, you've got a bad deal all around, but the trouble you're in right now is your own doing.
You're the one put me in jail.
I'm talking about your deserting.
Well, what about it?
I'm just telling you, you're responsible for that yourself. And you're the only one who can square it. Give yourself up.
Give myself up? You mean you're not taking me in?
I got nothing to do with it. This is between you and the Army.
Please, Spear, do it. He's right.
You mean I can walk out of here right now? And you won't stop me?
That's right.
Why are you doing this, Marshal?
Spear, I've been told that you're a good soldier. But right now you're in trouble. And you and I are both responsible for it. I shouldn't have thrown you in jail, and you shouldn't have deserted.
Well, so?
I'll do my part, and I think you'll do yours. You'll do yours by turning yourself in.
I don't know, Marshal.
Yeah, what, Chester?
Down there in the street. Lieutenant Adams and 2 soldiers, and they're headed right in here.
Give myself up, huh? You got it planned pretty neat, Marshal. Maybe the Army will give you a reward for this, huh? Maybe they'll
Adams
fix
said he was going to search the town. That's all I know about.
And followed you right here, didn't he? You sure trust me.
All right, shut up a minute. Kitty, is that a closet there? Is it empty?
Look, well, almost, yeah.
All right, Spear, I'll prove that I trust you. They won't find you till you're ready to give yourself up. Now get in that closet and hurry.
You mean it?
Here, take my gun with you. Now do you think I mean it?
Your gun?
Go on, take it.
Oh, but I didn't mean...
All right, hurry up, get in there.
Mr. Dillon, are you sure you are to take a chance like that?
Open the door, Kitty.
Come in, Lieutenant.
Wait here, Matt.
Yes.
Well, hello, Marshal.
How are you, Lieutenant?
Chester.
Hello.
Sorry to bother you this way, Miss Kitty. We're searching the town for Spear, like I told you.
Yeah, well, I know, but how'd you get here so fast, Lieutenant?
Just a hunch. Guess it was a bad one.
It sure was. Miss Kitty'd never hide a fugitive of any kind in this world, no matter
Chester.
what he might have done.
Chester.
Yes, sir.
I hope you'll excuse me for bothering you, Miss Kitty.
Oh, that's all right, Lieutenant.
Well, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
So long. All right, Spear, they've gone. You can come out now. Well?
Here's your gun, Marshal.
Thank you. We'll leave you here, and I'll send Lieutenant Adams back alone. That is, if you've decided.
Okay, Marshal.
Oh, that's fine.
You're doing the right thing, Spear.
Chester, give him his gun.
Yes, sir. Here you are.
Thanks.
Come on, Kitty. Chester.
So, Marshal,
Yeah?
I'll be all right now, Marshal. No matter what that captain thinks of.
Sure you will, Spear. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Marshal. I thank you.
There's Lieutenant Adams right across the street, Mr. Dillon.
You and Kitty go on into the Texas Trail, huh? I'll join you later.
All right, sir.
Hurry back, Matt.
Lieutenant Adams.
Yes, Marshal.
Where are your men?
Oh, they're scouting the Alafraganza there. I don't think they'll find him, though.
You don't?
No, I don't. I see you got your gun back, Marshal.
You don't miss much, do you?
I kind of wondered at first why you didn't have it upstairs there.
And?
Well, I don't suppose Captain Shaw'd much appreciate an officer who searched a room, didn't even bother with the closet, would he?
Captain Shaw might not, Lieutenant, but I think Spear will.
You be waiting for me, Marshal?
Mm-hmm.
It was a mighty long chance you took.
Yeah, it was worth it. Let me know how he makes out, Lieutenant.
I sure will, Marshal. Especially seeing as how you kind of got a stake in him now. Well, so long.
Goodbye, Lieutenant. I heard later that Spear was treated rough for the next few days, but that he took it fine. And then Colonel Doby returned to his command, and he decided that Spear had been punished enough. 2 weeks later, Lieutenant Adams, accompanied only by Spear, was ordered on a scouting mission down toward the Cimarron. It may have been Indians or it may have been the river, but neither man was seen or heard of again. Yesterday, I received a message from Colonel Doby. A formation is to be held at Fort Dodge, honoring those 2 good soldiers. The colonel thought I might want to be there.
Mr. Dillon, I never saw a street like that.
Huh? What do you mean, Chester?
Dusty, sir. Just plain dusty. It's only spring, and already the plaza's just vulgar with dust.
Streets in Texas are all grass, Chester?
No, sir, but they're better than this. You'd think there'd be some way of fixing it.
Well, Dodge is growing, Chester. Maybe someday it won't look so bad to you.
I don't aim to live that long, sir.
Well, I'm glad you got that much figured out anyway.
I surely have. Oh, now, wait. That's not what I meant either.
Don't let it worry you, Chester. Did you get those posters down to Mr. Hightower?
Yes, sir. He said they'll be ready about noon tomorrow.
All right. Pick them up then, will you?
Yes, sir. Oh, my goodness, Mr. Dillon, I nearly forgot.
No?
Well,
Forgot what?
After I left Mr. Hightower's, I thought I'd just take a glass of beer. I had to get all that dust out of my throat. You know how bad it is walking around knee-deep in that stuff, and I was hacking and coughing.
All right, Chester. Well, what is it you forgot?
Well, sir, I dropped into the Texas Trail, and Miss Kitty was there, and she said she thinks there might be trouble over there before long, and she said to tell you.
Oh? What kind of trouble?
Oh, the usual thing. Some man fighting over a girl.
Well, you don't seem to be very worried about it.
I'm tired of people fighting. I wish they'd all just go away somewheres and kill each other off and have done with it.
That'd be fine as long as they don't do it in Dodge. Well, come on, Chester. Let's go over and see what it's all about.
Tacetta's a new girl, Matt. She's shy as a flower. I don't know what she's doing here anyway.
How do you know the name of the man?
Dorgan, he says. I tried to get her away from him, but I think she's too scared.
Maybe she likes him. Did you ever think of that?
I hope not. Anyway, he won't let anyone else dance with her. Those 2 over at the bar near Chester there. They've tried twice.
I know one of those men. The tall one. His name's Horn.
Who is he?
Yeah, he's a gunman. Pretty fast, too, so I've heard.
Well, I was over there with Tacetta last time they came up, and somehow, from the way they talked, I got the feeling they're more interested in Dorgan than her.
Oh, you mean they're trying to draw him into a fight?
That's my guess, Matt.
All right, Kitty. I'll see what I can do. Miss Tacetta?
Yes?
I'm Matt Dillon. I'd be proud if you'd dance with me.
Well, I don't think I'd better.
Now, go ahead to say it. It's all right. You can dance with him.
Mr. Dorgan, you told those others that I could...
Hello, Marshal.
Hello, Horn.
This here is Watson.
Howdy, Marshal.
How are you? What's on your mind, Horn?
He just wanted to let you know, Marshal, if there's any trouble here, we ain't responsible.
Leave me alone, there won't be any trouble.
All we want, Marshal, is our turn with the girl here, and Dorgan's had her hogged the whole evening. And that ain't fair, and that's all. What's funny, Marshal?
You sound like a man at a church social.
I'm trying to be peaceable about it, that's all.
I've seen you when you didn't try, Horn. What are you looking for, an excuse to work this man into a gunfight?
Yeah, he sure is, Marshal. And I ain't going to take much more from him or Watson either.
What's the real trouble between you?
There's no trouble, Marshal. We just want to dance with that girl. That's all.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell me, Dorgan?
Nothing, Marshal, nothing.
All right. Tacetta.
Yes, sir.
Go over there and sit with Kitty, will you?
Now, wait a minute, Marshal. Tacetta's my girl. I've been buying her drinks. She's staying right here.
Go ahead, Tacetta. Go on over with Kitty.
I don't know which one...
You just go, Tacetta. Nobody will stop you.
Well, all right, then. Thank you for the drinks, Mr. Dorgan.
Go on, beat it.
Chester.
You got a great way of handling things is all I can say.
What is it, Mr. Dillon?
Take their guns, Chester.
Oh, no, you don't. Shut up, Watson.
Well, you going to let him do that?
We ain't looking for trouble.
You're smarter than I figured, Horn.
Am I, Marshal?
Get him, Chester.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Your guns will be at the jail. You can pick them up in the morning when you leave town.
Leave town?
All three of you. Good night, gentlemen. Taking his gun from a man like Horn was the fastest way in the world to get him out of the saloons and off the streets and behind cover somewhere. There were too many men who might show up out of his past and suddenly make their claim on him. And Horn was the one that really mattered. Neither Dorgan or Watson looked like real gunmen. So I thought I'd been pretty smart. Till the next morning. I was just crossing the plaza when I ran into Kitty and Chester.
Matt, we've been trying to find you.
Oh, what's the matter, Kitty?
It's Tacetta. I don't know where she is.
What?
I looked in her room this morning and she'd gone. Nobody's seen her anywhere.
Oh, maybe she went out to buy some clothes or something.
Oh, she was afraid to go out alone. I always had to go with her. I just know something's happened to her.
Oh, like what?
Dorgan. He was real sweet on her, Matt, and I don't trust him at all.
Oh?
Dorgan come by the office real early, Mr. Dillon. I gave him his gun, and he vamoosed. He was in a big hurry to go someplace.
Well, I told him to leave town this morning.
Well, you didn't tell him to take Tacetta with him.
Did they get back together last night?
Sure. Just as soon as Horn and Watson left. I couldn't stop it.
I see. Tell me, Kitty, can she ride?
Oh, no. I asked her to go out with me once.
All right. There was a stage west this morning. Go see if they got on it, will you, Chester?
All right, sir.
Kitty, if she did leave with Dorgan, maybe it's because she wanted to.
Oh, maybe. She wouldn't say anything about him last night, one way or the other. I told you I think she's afraid of him, Matt, but even if she did want to go, well, she isn't his kind, that's all.
Well, that may be, Kitty, but it's not the law's job to chaperone every girl that hits Dodge.
What if she didn't want to go, Matt? What if he forced her to?
Well, that'd be different. A whole lot different.
You bet it would.
They was on it, Mr. Dillon. The agent described them exactly. Left an hour ago, right on time.
I knew it.
Will I get our horses, sir?
No, wait a minute, Chester. Dorgan might put up a fight, and if he does, we can't shoot around that girl.
Well, then how can you stop him, Matt?
Well, somehow I don't figure Dorgan is a really brave man. I think we can bluff him. He might try to fight two of us, but if there were more, say, maybe a dozen men... Well...
You mean we'll take a posse?
Yeah, well, this time it might just work, Chester. But I'll pick 'em. Men I can trust not to do any hasty shooting. Chester, you go round up Arnold Winters and John Kemp, Marty Walter, and Bob Gast. And I'll get the rest of them.
All right, sir.
And tell them we'll all meet at the jail in 20 minutes.
Everybody's here, Mr. Dillon.
All right, I'm coming, Chester. All right, men. All right, listen to me now. Now, I've picked you men because I know that you're steady, every one of you. Now, there's a girl on that stage, and whatever happens, we can't return fire. Is that clear?
Sure.
All right. I'll figure out how we're going to stop them when we get there.
Marshal.
Well, what are you doing here?
Hold it. Marshal, me and Watson heard you needed help.
Thought I told you to get out of town, Horn.
We just want to be sure you got Dorgan before we left, Marshal.
I don't need your help. And don't you be here when I get back, either one of you.
How do you like that, Watson?
All right, men. All right, let's go.
It's a-coming, Mr. Dillon.
All right, Chester. Men, spread out in a half circle. When the stage comes out of those cottonwoods, Chester and I'll ride forward and stop her. And then you close in around us.
We got it.
All right, let's go.
What's the matter, Marshal?
It's all right, Jim. I just want to talk to a couple of your passengers. You, Dorgan, come on out.
You try anything, Tacetta be right in front of me, Marshal.
I figured that, Dorgan. Come on out anyway.
All right, Tacetta, get out. You stand right here, Tacetta, and don't move. Now, what's on your mind, Marshal?
I want to know if Tacetta's here because she wants to be. That's all.
Tell him, Tacetta. Right, tell him.
Just tell me the truth, Tacetta. If you want to go with him, you may. But if he's forcing you to go, then we're here to take you back to Dodge.
You wouldn't want her death on your conscience, would you, Marshal?
Oh, no, please don't kill me. I'll tell him. I came because I wanted to. There.
That's a good answer, Tacetta.
And go on back to Dodge and leave us alone.
I guess you didn't hear the same thing I did, Dorgan.
I'm warning you,
You
Marshal.
haven't got a chance. How long do you think you can use her for cover? Now, I got 12 men here, Dorgan, and we'll follow you from here to California if necessary. Isn't that right, men? And if she should get killed, I'll just let you imagine what we'll do to you. Now, you drop your gun belt right where you are and step forward. And do it now. All right, get his gun, Chester.
Yes, sir.
All right, one of you men get rid of your guns and put Dorgan up behind you.
Mr. Dillon, what are we going to do with Tacetta? She can't ride anyway, especially in those clothes.
Well, the Bledsoe place is a couple of miles from here. Go over there and borrow their buckboard, Chester, and for your trouble, we'll let you drive her back to town.
Yes, sir. My. Well, you wait right here, Mr. Tacetta, and I'll be back in no time at all. Morning, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, Chester. What time did you get back with Tacetta last night, Chester?
Oh, now, buckboard ain't like a horse. You can't drive it a lope all the way.
That's all right, Chester. Well, what have you got there?
Here, Dorgan's breakfast.
Well, you'll probably have to wake him up. He hasn't made a sound so far. Oh, there are the keys on the desk.
Yes. Mr. Dillon?
Yeah?
Come here, quick.
What? Open the cell, Chester. Hurry. He might still be alive.
I got a knife.
All right. Cut him free. I'll hold it. No. He's been dead a long time.
Now, who'd have thought he'd go hang himself?
He didn't, Chester.
What?
There's no rope in his cell. Somebody called him over here to the window. Knocked him in the head and slipped the rope around his neck and tied him tight to the bars. This isn't suicide, it's murder.
Horn and that fellow Watson, they did it.
Well, they're the only ones I know who've been wanting him dead.
Will we go arrest him?
Yeah, they just go free again. I got no evidence the court would accept.
I'll bet those two don't think any more of strangling a man than shooting a wolf and throwing his skin over a fence.
Yeah, they're killers, Chester. But right now they got nobody to kill. Except maybe me. Found out that Horn and Watson were still in Dodge. I figured that they were probably waiting for me to run them out. That they'd be glad for the excuse if I did, leaving Dorgan's murder behind them. Instead, I did nothing and I said nothing, hoping it'd sand their nerves some, maybe drive them to a bottle and some loose talk. That night, pretending there was nothing in the world on our minds, Chester and I walked into the Texas Trail.
Sure is crowded tonight, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
Say, there's Tacetta. See her?
You're like a fall hog after ripe acorns, Chester.
Well, now, my gracious, it wouldn't be polite for me not to say hello, would it?
I'll see you later. That fellow who just left, is he coming back, Kitty?
He went broke. Sit down, Matt. You drinking?
No, not tonight.
Oh, expecting trouble, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Look at Chester and Tacetta there. I sure wish this place were quieter. I'd give anything to know what they're saying.
It may get noisier.
What?
Look over there. Watson just came in.
Oh. Say, he's drunk, Matt. He's real drunk.
Yeah.
He's just going to start trouble again. Look, he spotted Tacetta.
I don't see Horn.
Oh, Horn hasn't been in tonight.
I said I was going to dance with her.
You're a loco drunk, Watson. Get out of here and leave the lady alone.
What lady?
You take that back.
Matt?
Are you from Texas, mister?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Well, now, if I was from Texas, I'd certainly keep it to myself.
You're wrong, Watson. There's a lot of good, decent people in Texas.
Maybe, since you left. It's a wonder you can even get a woman like this.
Don't you be judging the people of Texas.
Matt!
All right, get out of the way. Let me through here.
Wait a minute.
He He drew on me, Mr. Dillon. I was only going to fight him. I didn't think he'd draw.
Everybody saw it, Chester. He had his gun out first.
I shot him twice. He didn't even fire. How come he didn't kill me?
Now, take it easy, Chester. Tacetta, go get him a drink, will you?
Yes, sir. I'll do right away.
Watson. Watson.
Little Texas fella. He shot me.
Watson. Watson, listen to me. Did you strangle Dorgan?
Dorgan. We killed him. Me and Horn. Right in jail. There it comes.
If I take Horn alive, I'll call on some of you men as witnesses to Watson's confession here. Well, a couple of you take him out back. Chester, you all right? You look peaked.
I got him a whiskey, sir, just like you said.
Drink it down, Chester.
Mr. Dillon?
Yeah.
Mr. Dillon, if he hadn't have been drunk, I couldn't have shot him.
Well, that may be, Chester. But don't forget one thing. Drunk as he was, he drew to kill you. If you'd given him another second, he would have. You had to shoot him. It was self-defense, pure and simple.
Yes, sir. That's sure true, but I...
Now, you stay here for a while. I'll be out in the plaza.
Tacetta, get me one more drink.
Word of the gunfight would spread fast in Dodge, and the word of the dying man's confession even faster. Wherever Horn was, I knew he'd hear about it. And since he was a gunman of an entirely different breed from men like Watson and Dorgan, it could be depended on that instead of running, he'd shoot it out with me. It was a simple matter of vanity, and there was no way to stop him. The only thing I could do was wait. Expectantly, the plaza cleared. But before Horn showed up, Chester came out of the Texas Trail and walked over to me.
Mr. Dillon?
Are you all right now, Chester?
I'm fine. But say, I just heard that Horn's gone and got himself a shotgun.
Now, is that so?
You can't meet him like this. I'll go get you one out of the office.
No.
But, Mr. Dillon, a shotgun...
I know. But if Horn's done that, he's lost his nerve. It means he can't face me any other way.
Yeah, but you haven't got a chance against a shotgun.
Well, we'll soon find out. There he comes.
Oh. He does have a shotgun, Mr. Dillon.
All right, get off the street, Chester.
I don't like to leave...
Go on.
Yes, sir.
Evening, Marshal.
You're well armed, Horn.
Yeah, ain't I?
This is the first time, isn't it?
First time what?
You had to get behind a shotgun?
I ain't taking no chances, Marshal.
Sure. But from what I've heard, that never bothered you before.
Meaning?
You're fast enough with a 6-gun to have lived this long, Horn. You must be pretty good. But you're through now. You've lost your nerve. You're not a gunman anymore. You're just ordinary dirt common.
That's enough of that.
I could find a dozen men like you in any saloon in town. It was different before, Horn. You kind of stood out a little. Nobody's going to worry about you after this.
You think not? You think I need this shotgun?
Of course you need it. Everybody can see that.
I ain't scared of you, Marshal. I ain't scared of no man alive.
Talk's cheap.
I ain't talking. There now. Ain't got no shotgun. Now don't you tell me I'm scared.
You don't have to draw, Horn. You can still take your chances in court.
You was right, Marshal. I was scared. I ain't no more.
Look, I'm giving you a chance. Why don't you take it?
Never mind.
You all right, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah. Yeah, Chester. It's been a long day. Let's go somewhere and try and forget it.
Cigar, Miss Kitty?
You know I don't smoke in public, Chester.
Oh, excuse me. Mr. Dillon?
Thanks, Chester. Yeah, I believe I will.
You know, for a Cowtown restaurant, this place serves the toughest steak I ever ate.
Well, you should have had the calf fries, Kitty.
Next time, I certainly will.
Say, that reminds me. When are we going fishing, Mr. Dillon? You said last week we might take a day off soon.
All right. How about now, this afternoon?
You mean it?
Well, sure. You want to go, Kitty?
Oh, thanks, Matt, but there's a new girl at the Texas Trail. I told her I'd help her make a dress today. I'm late now.
Huh? Well, I'll have to drop by the office first, Chester.
All right.
If you want any help eating those fish, let me know.
You know how to cook catfish?
You bet I do.
We'll be around then.
Hey, Mr. Dillon, look at those men down there by the jail.
Huh?
Now, what's so curious about a wagon load of buffalo hides, I wonder?
Maybe they got a white one.
If they have, I want it. See you later, Matt. Chester?
So
Bye,
long,
Miss
Kitty.
Kitty.
This your wagon, mister?
No, Gatliff's. I skinned for him.
Oh, what are you doing here? What's the crowd for?
Just curious. The other Skinner got hurt, and we brought him into the dock.
Oh? What happens? He hurt bad?
Bad enough. Gatliff didn't see any sense in bringing him into town at all. Me and the cook, we made him, though.
Oh?
Here's Gatliff now.
Chester, go up to Doc's. Maybe you can help, huh?
All right, sir.
How is he?
Doc will take care of everything, Toby.
Never mind that. How is he?
Dead. Now, let's drive these hides on down the shed. I want to get them sold and pick up our supplies. Come on.
Just a minute, Gatliff.
Some other time, Marshal. I'm busy.
So am I. But you come into my office anyway. I want to talk to you.
Call this busy, bothering people?
That's my office right over there.
You and the cook go get them hides unloaded, Toby. I'll be right along.
Yeah.
Now, what do you want, Marshal?
You new around here, Gatliff?
Any log in it?
It depends. What happened to your Skinner?
Billy?
He hurt himself, that's all.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead.
Look, Gatliff, anything you don't want to tell me, I can ask Doc about.
There's nothing to tell, Marshal. He got hurt and he died, that's all.
When did he get hurt?
Last night.
And why didn't you bring him in last night?
Why, them other fellas, the cook and Toby, they figured he was done for anyway and didn't want to bother, I guess.
Is that so? You're the boss, aren't you?
Sure, I am. But you know how men are when they get out in camp, Marshal. You don't want to push them too far. They get touchy, kind of.
What happened to him, Gatliff? How'd he get hurt?
I don't rightly know, Marshal. He was alone in camp, and when we got there, he'd gone and burnt himself.
Burned? Burned with what?
Hot lead, Marshal. Spilt it all over him.
Oh, you mean lead for bullets, huh?
That's it. Cooking up lead in a fry pan. That was one of Billy's chores, to make my bullets. He always was a mite clumsy. He sure messed himself up this time.
There must have been a lot of lead.
50, 60 pound, I reckon.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Gatliff. Doc Adams is looking for you.
What does he want?
Well, see, that man of yours, Doc's all through with him. He says you can bury him now.
Oh, no. I ain't paying for no burial. He's just a skinner I hired. Don't even know his last name.
You're his boss, aren't you? You brought him in.
And that's all I'm gonna do for him. I ain't paying you $1. Not $1.
Nobody's asking you to pay me. But you can't just leave the man in Doc's office. Somebody's got to bury him.
He's just a bum who worked for me. He's not my father.
Well, all the stingy
Hold it,
things
Chester. All right, Gatliff. We'll take care of him. You can go now.
He's caused me trouble enough. I don't want to hear any more about him ever.
Well, that's about the most unfeeling man I ever did come across.
What about that Skinner, Chester? Tell me.
Oh, I swear it was terrible, Mr. Dillon. He was burned all over his head and his face and across his chest. Doc said he don't know how that fellow lived as long as he did.
Could he talk?
Oh, Doc told me he couldn't say a word.
Well, how do you suppose it happened?
Why, hot lead. Had a whole pan full of it, from what I hear.
Yeah, 50 or 60 pounds of it.
That much? Well, I can believe it.
I can't. What man's going to pick up 60 pounds of molten lead and spill it in his own face? That's the most stupid story I ever heard.
Well, say now, I hadn't thought of that. Mr. Dillon, you're right.
Of course, there's another way it could have happened.
What's that?
Somebody could have pushed his face down into it.
Oh, my goodness. Who?
I don't know. Gatliff, or maybe Toby. You know where Toby went?
Well, no, I don't. But him and the cook probably went over to the Alfraganza to drink up their wages.
All right. Go do something about burying that man, Chester, will you? I'll be back later.
All right, sir. I'll tend to it.
Where's the cook, Toby?
Oh, hello, Marshal. Cook, he went to get him some boots while he still had the money.
Come on over to a table. I'll buy you a drink.
You will? I mean, sure, Marshal, sure.
Sam, set out a bottle of rye and another glass. Will you?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you are.
Thank you.
Well, here's to your friend, Billy.
He's no friend of mine, but he died a bad death. I'll drink to him.
Tell me something, Toby. How did he and Gatliff get on?
You see Gatliff's eyes, Marshal?
Yeah, I did.
He's got powder specks shot into them. They look like turkey eggs.
Yeah?
You don't get on with a man like that.
Yeah. Well, why do you work for him, then?
Marshal, I get 25 cents a hide, and I can skin over 20 buffalo a day. But I've worked for hunters who couldn't kill enough to keep up with me. Gatliff's a good hunter, and that's the only reason at all I work for him.
Now, if he's such a good hunter, how come I've never seen him in Dodge before?
And the man's greedy, Marshal. He's downright wicked about money. He figures he can save time and make more money by selling his hides to buyer's agents on the prairie.
Yeah.
He gets less out there, but he can kill and sell more that way. That Gatliff never stops killing buffalo.
He came in with a load of hides today.
Just 'cause we made him come in with Billy. And another thing, we've been out 4 months, Marshal. He must owed Billy $800.
Oh?
Yeah, most hunters would have split that with the crew, but not Gatliff. He like to took my head off when I mentioned
Hey,
it.
want another drink?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Tell me about the accident, huh?
Well, Billy was melting lead in a fry pan, and the way I figured he must have tripped somehow, fallen smack into it, and when we rode in, we found him rolling around on the ground. That's all I know.
When who rode in?
Me and the cook. The cook skins on days Billy's making bullets.
Where was Gatliff?
Oh, he went in just ahead of us.
How long ahead of you?
Not long, maybe about 20 minutes.
Then he found Billy first, is that it?
Yeah, so he did. Hey, I hadn't thought of that before, Marshal. So that's why you've been asking so many questions.
Well, I wasn't sure, Toby, but I expect you're telling the truth. The cook backed up your story.
Sure, I'm telling the truth. That's what happened, all right. Yeah, Gatliff killed him. He murdered him.
Any idea why he would?
Well, sure I do. There's only one thing Gatliff wants, and that's money. He killed Billy just so you wouldn't have to pay him his wages due.
Yeah, maybe.
Why don't you arrest him, Marshal?
There's no real evidence, Toby, not at all. And it's bad for the law if I arrest a man and later he goes free. Unless he's innocent, of course.
He ain't innocent.
How come this didn't occur to you before, Toby?
Why, I don't know, Marshal. I sure don't.
You going back out on the prairie with him?
I ain't afraid of him. I'll be sleeping with one eye open from now on. It'd be a pleasure to kill him after what he done. Self-defense, of course, Marshal.
Yeah. But if you let on you're suspicious, he'll sure try to kill you.
Not me. He can do his killing on somebody else.
The cook, maybe?
I ain't even gonna tell the cook.
Yeah. You'll be leaving in the morning, I suppose.
About dawn, I reckon, soon as Gatliff hires a new skinner.
Now, the bottle's yours, Toby.
Oh?
And, good luck.
Well, I sure do. Thank you, Marshal.
Later in the day, Chester and a couple of other men buried Billy out on the hill. As Toby said, he died a bad death, and it was made worse by the men who'd done it to him, going scot-free. But I figured anybody as greedy as Gatliff would someday overplay his hand, and I hoped I'd be there when he did. The next morning, Chester told me he'd heard that they'd left Dodge. And that afternoon, we went off fishing. When we got back, Kitty cooked up our catch for supper, and she did a real good job of it.
Yeah, that was fine, Miss Kitty, just fine.
Anytime, Chester. You catch 'em and I'll cook 'em.
Say, do you know how to make antelope stew
I've made it.
and sourdough biscuits?
Of course.
Oh, my goodness.
Chester, you sound like you're about to propose.
Oh, my gracious. No, Mr. Dillon, my.
Why, Chester, I always kind of hoped.
Oh, I didn't mean... Well, that is... I mean... Well, mercy, well, who'd marry me anyway?
You ever ask anyone to, Chester?
Well, yes, ma'am, once I did.
Well, what'd she say?
She said she would. She said, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Marshal Dillon here.
Yeah, come on in, mister.
They sent me after you, Marshal. Nestor camp across the river.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Man got knifed over there. Killed.
Oh, was it just a fight or what?
They don't know who knifed him, Marshal.
Come on, Chester. Thanks for the supper, Kitty.
Sure, Matt.
He was knifed in the back, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, but nobody saw it happen.
No, sir. Looks like somebody got clean away with murder.
Well, hello there.
Marshal Dillon?
That's right. What can I do for you, son?
That man that's dead.
Huh? What about him? Well, go ahead. You can tell me.
I saw him get stabbed, Marshal.
You did? Well, where were you?
I was looking for berries over there. I heard them arguing, and I sneaked up just after he'd done it. They were all alone.
Who was the man, son? Did you know him?
No, sir, but he was big and kind of dirty looking. He had a buckskin shirt.
Anything else you remember?
He had funny eyes, Marshal. They had spots in them.
It's Gatliff, Chester.
Yeah, I declare it sounds like him, sure enough.
Son, how come you didn't tell anybody about what you saw?
I was afraid to, till you came, Marshal.
Why, it's all right. But in case I want to find you later sometime, what's your name?
Yorkie Kelly.
All right, I won't forget that, Yorkie. And thanks for telling me about this.
Oh, sure, Marshal, anytime.
Well, I hope there won't be a next time, Yorkie. Goodbye.
So long, Marshal.
Goodbye.
Guess it was Gatliff, all right.
Yeah.
Seems like a dangerous sort of man to be running loose.
No, I got him now, Chester. As soon as I find him.
I hope so, Mr. Dillon. I certainly do hope so.
Since Gatliff would figure nobody had seen him, it wasn't likely that he'd run. And anyway, there wasn't much sense in trying to track him down in the dark. So Chester and I didn't start out until the next morning. Ordinarily, a man would ride into the prairie and disappear. But with Gatliff, it was a little different. At least we knew he'd be somewhere around Buffalo. It was late afternoon before we reached good hunting grounds, and almost dark when we spotted the first hunter's camp.
We just gonna ride right up to him, Mr. Dillon?
Now, this isn't Gatliff. He had mules. This man's got horses.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep your eyes open just the same, Chester.
Oh, yes, sir.
Get down, stranger.
Thank you.
Supper will be ready. Cook, throw some more tongue in that stew pot. Don't like buffalo tongue. You'll go mighty hungry in this camp.
Oh, thanks, mister.
Hey, you're a lawman.
Matt Dillon. I'm a U.S. Marshal.
My name's Tom Mercer.
How are you? This is Chester Proudfoot.
How'd you do?
Mr. Mercer?
Come over by the wagon, sit down. Supper'll take a little longer now. Anyway, my skinners won't be in for a while yet.
Well, how you doing, Mr. Mercer?
Oh, fair, Marshal, fair. Had a stand of about 100 today. Killed every one of them but a couple of old bulls.
Oh?
That's why the boys are out so late.
Have you been here long?
About a month. Move on in a couple of weeks. I don't know, Marshal. I think this whole southern herd's going to be clean wiped out for long. Next year I'm going to Dakota.
Too many hunters, maybe, huh?
That's just it. That's it, exactly.
Have you seen any in the last day or two, Mr. Mercer?
Just who you looking for, Marshal?
Man named Gatliff. Big man. Speckled eyes.
What's he done?
You know him?
No, I don't. Nobody's come near us in over a week.
You're not much help. Except for that stew the cook's making.
Oh, you like that. We're having dried apples, too.
Oh?
I mighty near could eat a buffalo raw, the entire beast.
You must be part Indian.
Well, no, sir.
I've seen one of them eat a whole liver raw. Got propped up against a tree and ate every bit of it and then went sound asleep right there in the sun. He was sure some sight.
Where'd you ever get that close to an Indian?
Oh, Indians ain't always bad. Take last fall, about 20 of them rode right down into our camp. We thought we was done for, sure, but you know what happened? They were looking for meat, that's all.
We let 'em take what they wanted, they rode away. Just as peaceful like as a man could ask.
They're going to get real hungry when the herd's gone.
That's so, Marshal. That is surely so. That's what makes them mad.
Don't you think that's reason enough?
Fella told me a couple of weeks ago he run into a bunch west of here. He was looking for scalps, all right, but good buffalo man with his old Sharps 50 can pick off Indians at 1,500 yards. They're no match for him at all.
Not unless they stalk him.
Oh, they've done that, sure. Hey, here come my skinners. Let's go get outside some of that stew.
Good.
All of it. Don't you ever feed this man, Marshal?
Only when he works, Mr. Mercer.
Oh, now, Mr. Dillon.
We spent the night in Tom Mercer's camp. And at dawn, just after breakfast, we said goodbye and rode on west. There was a lot of country out there, and all we could do was ride through it till we ran into him. In the next 2 days, we met plenty of hunters, but we didn't find Gatliff. About noon of the third day, we cut the trail of a wagon train and figured that it'd be that of a hide buyer's agent who'd come into the field to do business on the spot. And an hour or two later, we saw him. A long string of ox-drawn wagons piled high with buffalo hides. And there was a man on horseback leading the train. We rode up to him.
Hello there.
Well, that's quite a load you got, mister.
10,000 so far. But what are you doing way out here, Marshal?
I'm looking for a hunter named Gatliff. You know him?
Sure I do. Just picked up a load from his rick early this morning. Is he in trouble?
Yeah, he sure is. Where is he?
Straight south here a couple of miles. Can't tell you exactly. He moves around a lot.
Well, that's close enough for us. Thanks a lot, mister.
Sure, Marshal. I never did like him anyway.
There's an empty rick over yonder. That must be it.
Yeah, but he's moved his camp.
Not far if it was just this morning.
Chester, what's that out there?
Where?
Hey, that looks like a man. Come on. There.
Oh. Well, Mr. Dillon, it's that Skinner of his.
Get some water, Chester.
Yes.
Toby? Toby, can you hear me? He's been shot.
Yes, sir. Here's the water.
Yeah. Oh. Toby? It's Marshal Dillon.
Give me a drink.
Here you are.
He shot me, Marshal.
Oh, what happened? Where's the rest of the crew?
They run off. He took his wagon and the horses. He went kind of crazy when he found out. That's why he shot me.
You know where he is now?
No, I don't know, Marshal. He shot me, and then he said he was going hunting. He's going loco. You're going loco.
Now, take it easy, Toby. Take it easy. You'll be all right.
I could hear him shooting at Sharps a long time. And then he stopped.
Well, where was he? Which way?
Off. Behind me there. I could hear him.
Chester, you stay with him. I'm going after Gatliff.
All right, sir.
Off in the direction Toby had indicated, there lay a large, isolated hollow surrounded by low ridges. When I reached it, I dismounted, and I crawled up to where I could look down into it. There was no sign of Gatliff, but lying on the prairie floor were the bodies of countless fresh-killed buffalo. It was a strange sight. The old bulls, the cows, the little calves lying there blackening the prairie grass. I got up and stood, looking at it for a long time. And then suddenly, out in the middle, I thought I saw a slight movement. And a second later, there came the familiar boom of a Sharps 50. And I dropped behind a ridge and waited. And then Chester rode up.
Have you found him, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah.
I thought I'd better come along. You see...
Toby's dead, is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Gatliff's down there in the middle of the hollow. But we can't get anywhere near him as long as he's got that Sharps rifle. He's killed a small herd of buffalo in there, and now he's lying out in the center of them.
Well, that's the darndest thing I ever heard of, Mr. Dillon. He must have gone crazy, just like Toby said.
Yeah.
What's he shooting at now? Mr. Dillon, the way he's spacing them shots.
Yeah, that's the signal for help, Chester. Come on.
Say, maybe this is a trap.
Be ready to take cover behind one of these animals. It might be.
Sounds like he's been hurt.
Yeah. Keep your head up.
There he is. Behind that big bull.
Yeah, I see him.
Why, Mr. Dillon, he's all...
There have been horses in here. Indians.
My goodness.
Come on. Well, that was his last effort, Chester. He's dead now.
Mr. Dillon, that's awful.
Yeah. Come on, let's get out of here. I don't know how the Indians caught Gatliff. He'd gone a little mad, and maybe that made it easy for him. But they finally got themselves a buffalo hunter. And into their unbelievably savage torture of him had gone all the hatred and desperation of a race being slowly starved and driven from their homeland. And then they'd put him there surrounded by his own bloody slaughter. And they'd gone off with a gesture of contempt, leaving his rifle and his ammunition by his side. And having seen what they did to him, I'll never know how he managed to fire even one of those shots. For all of his evil, Gatliff had died harder than any man I'd ever seen. Chester and I rode back to Dodge. And it was never mentioned between us again. Trouble could start any time in Dodge, but usually it was at night that the men made their play along Front Street, and so ordinarily I was up a good part of the night and did my sleeping in the morning. It was a rare thing for me to be out in the early day, and for some reason it worried Chester.
I just don't understand why you couldn't sleep, Mr. Dillon, unless you had the colic or something.
I feel fine, Chester. Just got a few things to take care of at the bank, that's all.
Yes, I know, but the bank's open all day.
You know what they always say, Chester. It's the early bird that catches the worm.
Yeah. My ma used to tell us that one about being healthy, wealthy, and wise. She used to root us out of bed every morning at daylight on account of it.
It's a good saying.
Yeah. I don't know whatever become of my brothers, but I'm sure not living in a very big house.
Well, maybe you ought to come in here more often.
I got no business with the bank, Mr. Dillon. Well, morning, Mr. Fogg.
Morning, Chester. Morning, Mr. Dillon.
Morning, Fogg. I'll be over there in a minute as soon as I straighten this stuff out.
Good morning, Marshal.
Good morning, Mr. Pap.
You taking money out, Marshal, or putting it in?
Neither, Mr. Pap. This is government business.
Oh, I see. Who are those men, Marshal?
What?
I say, who are those men?
I never saw him before.
That one in the middle holding the envelope, he seems pretty excited about something.
Certainly, sir. What can I do for you?
I want a loan of money immediately.
Well, we'll do what we can, sir. First of all, how much do you want?
$20,000.
20. Mr. Pap.
Yes? Excuse me, Marshal.
Gentlemen, this is our president. You'll have to talk with him.
I heard you say $20,000, gentlemen. That's a lot of money. What do you have for collateral?
My collateral, sir, is right here in this envelope. You may look at it, but don't reveal it to these other gentlemen.
These are playing cards.
Don't name them.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, I've been in a poker game at the Texas Trail all night long. Right now, there's about $40,000 in that pot. There are some good hands out. I've put every cent I have into it already. Now, they've given me just 20 minutes to come up with more money.
Well, I certainly wish you luck, sir, but I never heard of
You've seen my hand in that envelope. You can lend me the money on that.
But surely, sir, you don't expect the bank to enter a gambling game.
Now, these gentlemen are also in the game. They came along to see that those cards aren't changed. The other men are watching the table at the Texas Trail. It's all fair and square, I assure you.
Well, gentlemen,
I'll gladly pay you 10% interest, sir.
You've only got 5 minutes left, Hook.
Come along, gentlemen. We'll step in the back office.
Well, now that's about the craziest thing I ever did here.
He must have a pretty good hand, Chester.
I know, sir, but you don't think Mr. Pap's going to let him have $20,000 on it?
It certainly looks that way. Yeah, there we are. I'll take care of this and we'll get out of here. This is government stuff, Fogg. You know what to do with it.
Certainly, Mr. Dillon. Now, let me see.
Marshal, I want you to come with me.
What?
These gentlemen, there's a poker game, and I've got the money here. I think you'd better come along just to be safe.
You mean you gave him his $20,000, Mr. Peck?
Yes, of course. Now, come over here, Marshal, I'll tell you.
All right.
Marshal, that man Hook there has 4 aces and a 10 in his hand. It's a sure thing. Why, the bank stands to make $2,000 on this loan, and it won't take but a few minutes.
Well, you run the bank, Mr. Peck, but are you sure you ought to take a gamble with other people's money this way?
I can't lose. There's not a chance in a million. But I want you to protect this money till I get it back here.
Well, all right. I'll see nobody takes it at the point of a gun if you think that'll help.
Good. Now, you come along, then. Hook's only got a few minutes to get back in the game.
All right, there's my money, Mr. Shaneways. I'm calling you, sir.
You must have a pretty good hand, Hook. All the trouble you've been to.
You will see it. What have you got?
5 little hearts, all blue.
I win, sir. 4 aces.
But look at my hearts. They read 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Straight flush. Your aces lose, Hook.
Aces? Aces? How could he have a straight flush?
Got it dealt right out of the deck, Hook. Right out of the deck. Nice pot. Had enough?
But he won.
Mr. Pap, sir, I don't know what to say.
$20,000. Just like that, $20,000. It's not even my money.
Now, Mr. Pap, don't you worry, sir. I only borrowed that money. You'll have it back. You have my word as a Confederate gentleman on that.
Hook, please. Hook, I've got to have it back. It's not my money. I have to put it back in the bank. I'll be ruined if people find out
You
about
only
this.
loaned the money, sir. I lost it. Now, I'll send for it today, sir. I'll wire my agents. They'll have it on the next Santa Fe that leaves St. Louis.
No, Hook. No, I don't think that'll happen.
My word as a gentleman, sir. But you must be patient.
I shouldn't have done it. I had no right to do it.
Chester.
Yes, sir.
Go tell Doc I want to see him.
Yes, Mr. Dillon.
All right. Everybody, Now listen to me. All of you. Now, I don't want a word said about this to anyone. The bank's important to Dodge, and this could ruin it. Do you understand?
We have no reason to spread.
All right, then see to it. Or there'll be trouble for all of you.
Well, certainly, Marshal. No reason to spread. We all understand.
Mr. Pap, hold up a minute, will you? Mr. Pap?
Marshal, I should have listened to you. I'm ruined now.
Now, look, Mr. Pap. Maybe Hook's got money, I don't know, but if not, we'll figure something out. People will give you time.
No. No, they won't. As soon as they hear about this, there won't be any bank. They won't trust it anymore.
But they have to. It's the only bank there is.
What'll Joanne think? My kids. I can't face it, Marshal. I just can't face it.
Now, look, you just go back to the bank and tell the cashier to keep his mouth shut about this. You just got to give it time.
Sure, Marshal. I'll go. I'll go.
Oh, Marshal. Marshal, sir. I am sorry for that man, but he has no reason to worry. I'll send for the money at once.
Yeah, you do that, Mr. Hook. Send for the money. Gentlemen, what are your names?
My name's Shaneways, Marshal. Now, I'm sorry for that banker, but it's nothing to do with me. I won this money fair, and I'm keeping it.
Sure, Mr. Shaneways, of course you are. Who are you, mister?
Warden. And I agree with Shaneways. Gambling money's fair money.
Nobody is arguing that, Mr. Varden. But remember, gentlemen, what I said. Don't talk about this.
Oh, well, hey, Matt. Chester said you wanted me. What's happened? Didn't hear any shooting.
Everything's all right, Doc.
Oh, well, that's... Oh, you look familiar. Don't you?
I haven't had the pleasure, sir.
Oh, well, maybe not. No, I guess not. My mistake.
Never mind, Doc. Come on.
Yeah. Chester said he'd wait at the office, Matt.
Look, Doc, I want you to go over to the bank. Mr. Pap is pretty upset. See what you can do for him, huh? Give him a bromide or something.
Sure, Matt. What's wrong with him, anyway?
He just lost $20,000 in a poker game.
He lost 20...
And he wasn't playing. He lent the money on the strength of what looked like a good hand. That man Hook came into the bank for it with the other two.
Oh. He brought his cards along and raised the loan that way, huh?
What? How did you know?
Oh, I heard of it once, Matt. It was down in New Orleans. Oh, that was years ago.
Well, what happened?
Well, the same thing. Fella got the money and he lost it. That's all.
You mean it was fixed between him and the others?
Oh, sure, it was fixed all right.
Well, how did they find out?
Well, the fella that borrowed the money got drunk and he talked and they put him in jail, but the others got away clean.
Look, Doc, that gray-haired man you thought you recognized, his name's Hook. Are you sure you never saw him before?
Oh, a lot of people look familiar at first glance, man. You know how it is.
Look, in New Orleans, you didn't know the men who pulled the trick on the bank, did you?
Well, people said that they'd come down on the riverboat. I was doctor on the Tennessee Belle then, but I never met them, not to my knowledge anyway.
You recall hearing their names?
Well, that was a long time ago, Matt.
Look, Doc, those three back there may have just pulled the same thing now. Hook looked familiar to you. Maybe he remembers you, too.
Well, he just said he'd never met me,
Doc,
Matt.
he could be lying.
Oh, well, sure, but I can't place him. I probably never saw him before.
Well, go see what you can do for Pap. He's in pretty bad shape.
Oh, sure, Matt.
Gamblers were always drifting in and out of Dodge. Some of them were crooked, and some, it had been said, were honest. Ordinarily, it didn't matter much one way or the other. Most men could take care of themselves. But now the bank was involved, and the citizens of Dodge had their faith in that bank, as well as their money. I gave it a lot of thought the next hour or so, and finally I had an idea that Seemed like a start, anyway. I explained it to Chester, and together we went back to the Texas Trail. Shaneways and Varden were idly cutting cars, and Hook was at the bar talking to Kitty.
Hello, Matt.
Kitty?
Hi, Miss Kitty. Do you know Mr. Hook? This is Marshal Dillon.
We met earlier.
Why,
Kitty.
yes, indeed.
This morning?
I must have smelled trouble, Kitty. I got up early.
You're always smelling trouble, Matt.
Yeah. Leave your beer, Hook, and come with me.
What for?
Just do it.
Whatever you say, Marshal. Miss Kitty, I'll be back.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Varden, Shaneways, get up and follow Chester.
What? Is this an arrest?
Now, what would I be arresting you for, Mr. Shaneways?
What? Nothing. You've no reason.
That's right. All right, come on, let's go.
Just follow her along, please.
What is the idea of bringing us in here, Marshal?
Good morning, gentlemen. What can I... Oh, hello, Marshal. Chester.
Hello, Lum.
Lum, these men want their pictures taken.
Oh, no, not me. I don't.
I've got plenty of pictures.
Can you do it right away, Lum?
No, certainly can, Marshal. And, gentlemen, you'll be the very first to stand to form a new drop. The ancient temples of Greece. It'll lend you dignity and power.
What's the idea of this, Marshal?
Lum's just going to take your pictures, that's all. Oh, Lum, front and side views both, huh?
Oh, certainly, Marshal, certainly.
And then, gentlemen, if you leave Dodge, any of you, it'll make it a lot easier for the law to find you and bring you back. Wherever you go.
This is outrageous. I won't stand for it.
Varden,
wait a minute. I agree the Marshal is being a little high-handed, but after all, he must protect himself in his job. But since we've done nothing wrong, we have nothing to fear.
Sure. Hook's right, Varden.
I'll go first. Are you ready, Lum?
No, right this way, sir.
Chester, you stay here and wait for the pictures. Bring them over when they're finished.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon. Well, I'm a pretty good photographer, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, these aren't bad. Lock them up in the safe, will you, Chester?
All right. You think this will keep them in Dodge, sir?
No, not if they really get scared.
They're guilty, all right, aren't they, Mr. Dillon?
And I can't prove a thing, Chester, one way or the other.
Matt. Oh, Matt. Bad news.
What, Doc?
Well, this is Pap. Sent for me a little while ago. I just come from there.
Oh?
Matt, he killed himself. Suicide.
Pap?
About an hour ago.
Why, that poor man.
How's Mrs. Pap taking it?
Not a tear so far, but I suppose she'll break down later. Neighbor woman's there with her.
Yeah. Does she know why he did it, Doc?
Well, it seems he told her all about it, and then he went out and he shot himself.
And there's no stopping it now. The story will be all over town in no time.
Well, what are you going to do now, Matt?
I don't know, Doc. I just don't know. I'll buy you a drink, Kitty.
Gosh, I'd like it, Matt, but I just said I'd join Hook over at his table.
Well, I'd like to talk to him, too. I'll just sit with you for a few minutes.
That's fine with me. I don't know about him, though.
I don't think he'll object. I just have time for a smoke, Mr. Hook. I didn't think you'd mind.
Why, no, of course not. You're quite welcome, Marshal. May I buy you a drink?
No, thank you.
Marshal, I want you to know I sent for that money today, just as I promised.
Oh? You're a little late.
Late?
Mr. Pap shot himself.
He did?
You mean Mr. Pap, the banker?
Yeah.
But why, Matt? He would always seem so quiet-like.
Maybe Mr. Hook will explain it, Kitty.
Well, now, Marshal, you can't hold me responsible in any way at all.
I didn't say I could, Hook. But you seem kind of nervous about it.
Well, naturally, I'm upset. After all, that man did me a great favor.
Yeah, sure. But I don't think the people in Dodge are going to like it much when they find out. Tell me something, Mr. Hook. When were you in New Orleans last?
New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do you ask that, Marshal?
Just curious.
Well, sir, I've never been in New Orleans. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's good enough. For now. Goodbye, Kitty. I'll drop by later.
Sure, Matt.
And, Mr. Hook, it still goes about not leaving town.
I like it here, Marshal.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. Maybe I should have arrested Hook and his friends without any evidence and just seized the $20,000 and put it back where it belonged. That might have saved people's faith in the bank, but I figured my job was to give them faith in the law, and I couldn't do it that way. I'd made it plain to Hook what I suspected, and I hoped it'd scare him into making a mistake. And it did. But I didn't learn about it until next morning when I was having breakfast at the Dodge house.
Mr. Dillon?
What?
I've been looking everywhere for you, at your room, Delmonico's, the Texas Trail, everywhere. This is the last place I hit.
Well, what is it, Chester?
Here, look at here. Just you read that.
Marshal, we're taking Doc along. If you follow us, we'll kill him. Where'd you get this, Chester?
It was under the door when I opened up this morning. I ran up to Doc's right away, and sure enough, Mr. Dillon, he's gone.
Come on. Go check the depot and the stage line, Chester. I'll cover the livery stables.
All right, sir.
That'll take me longer, so you get our horses ready. I'll meet you at the office, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's the marshal. You're out early today.
Not early enough, Andy.
Yeah? What can I do for you?
I want to know if you rented out any horses last night.
Well, sure, a few. Why?
Did you rent 4 to anybody? 4 in a bunch?
Why, yes, I sure did. Be back today, so they said.
Who said?
Well, strangers to me. Paid me in advance, though. The greenhorn.
What time was this, Andy?
Oh, it was late. Yeah, it was way after midnight it was. Something wrong?
Yeah. Tell me, Andy, what'd they look like?
Well, one was an old fellow, gray hair. Didn't give me his name, though. I don't think I got much of a look at the other one.
You have any idea which trail they took out of town?
I know I don't. One of them said something about St. Louis. But that's not much help, is it?
It might be. Oh, thanks, Andy.
Oh, one thing, Marshal.
Yeah.
If you're riding after them, those horses, they gotta just crowbaits. I didn't figure they could handle anything better.
There was nothing to do but take a chance and ride east. Luck was with us, though, and within an hour we cut their trail. 4 horses leave a pretty fair track, and we followed it, riding hard. By dusk, we could tell by their sign that we'd nearly caught up with them. And soon after dark, we spotted their fire. These were gentlemen, maybe, but they were mighty poor hands on the prairie. We left our horses and went ahead on foot.
We gonna shoot it out with them, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, we can't chance it, Chester. They'd kill Doc. Now, hold up a minute. Now, that's their horses just ahead.
They sure staked them a good piece from camp.
Yeah. Lie down, Chester.
What'll we do, Mr. Dillon?
We just wait. Those men are mighty green at this game. I think we can steal their horses without any trouble at all.
Just leave them afoot, huh?
Yeah. Now, look, Chester, when we get those horses, I want you to pick up ours and take the whole bunch out of sight. I'm going to crawl into that tall grass just to the left of the fire there and hide until morning.
Mr. Dillon, why can't I go with you? Every time we get in trouble, you always send me off alone somewheres. You always do everything alone.
Do as I tell you, Chester.
Yes, sir.
You just wait till you hear gunfire, and then ride in fast and bring all the horses.
All right. Good luck.
By dawn next morning, I was half burrowed into the ground and covered by blue stem grass, not more than 30 feet from their camp. I could hear their talk all right, but I couldn't see them unless they were on their feet. Shaneways had already gone out after the horses. Pretty soon he was back.
With their ropes, that's what every last one of them.
What do we do now? You and Shaneways go after them. I'll stay here and guard Doc. Now, hurry up. We've got to get moving.
Come on, Wagner. We'll never find them.
I'm coming. I don't know why he's You can have this country, Doc. I don't know why you ever left that soft berth you had on the Tennessee Belle.
Well, I didn't have to leave it. That's more than you can say about New Orleans.
More talk like that, you'll get your throat slashed like a fat shoat, Doc.
Oh, spoken like a true gentleman, Hook. Or whatever your name is.
You know, if you hadn't talked so much in the first place, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Oh, you're a fool, Hook. I might have seen you somewhere, but I sure couldn't connect you with that New Orleans business. Anyway, you're giving yourself away now.
Just how?
Don't you know there wasn't a thing the law could do until you ran? Oh, you'll be caught now for sure, yeah.
Oh, I doubt it.
Why don't you untie my hands? I can't eat this way.
You'll manage.
I let Hook and Doc wrangle on till I figured the other two men had walked about a half a mile from camp. Then I waited till Hook had his back to me, and I stood up slowly and moved quietly forward. Doc saw me and almost spoiled the game, but he caught himself in time and then started another argument with Hook. I was about 15 feet away when Doc suddenly kicked the coffee pot off the fire and all over Hook's legs. And then I moved.
Oh! Hit him again, Matt. He can stand it.
No, that's enough.
All right, get up, Hook.
Oh, Marshal, easy now. Don't shoot.
Get Doc untied and be quick about it.
Yes, get me untied and be quick about it. There. Yes. Oh, that feels better. Oh, Hook, if I weren't a professional man, I'd punch you right in the eye.
Never mind, Doc. Here, put his gun in your belt.
All right, I'm just mad enough. I'd like to have an excuse to use this. Matt, what are you doing?
You'll see.
Matt! Why, you'll have them back here in no time.
I got a surprise for Hook, but he's not going to like it much.
Huh? Oh,
Where they got the money, Doc?
He in that saddlebag, right over there. The yellow.
All right, get it. Will you, quick?
Hurry up. Them two didn't get very far away.
All right, Doc, if you got the money, get up on the horse. You too, Hook. Come on, quick now. Come on.
Yonder they come. You see him, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, I see him.
They're shooting at us. Well, I'll fix that.
All right, hold it, Chester. They can't hit us from there. Come on, let's ride.
You just gonna ride off and leave them, Matt?
Oh, we got you, Doc, and we got Hook, and we got the money.
Oh, but they'll die out here, Marshal. There's none of us know how to live on this prairie.
Well, maybe they'll learn. It's a good way.
You're murdering those men.
Oh, they'll be all right for a few days, Hook. You'll all meet in prison. All right, ease up.
Oh,
We've left them.
What do you plan to do about this?
They're full of fight right now, that's all. I don't want to have to kill them to take them. But in a few days, they'll be so hungry and scared we can walk right up to them. Nobody will get hurt that way, neither them or us.
Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, what is it, Chester?
Mr. Dillon, later, in a couple of days, let me come back and bring them in.
What?
Just me this time, alone.
Well, now, Chester,
Please, Mr. Dillon.
Okay, Chester. You can do it. Alone.
Thank you, sir. All right, Hook. Ride a little faster there. We ain't got all day. time since I've been in Dodge, Pa.
Yeah, it's just as well you stay out of Dodge, Will. Man's a whole lot better off on a ranch than in a town.
He's a whole lot lonelier, too.
Well, then get married. Place needs a woman anyway.
I got my eye on the Sutter girl, Pa. But she won't be old enough for another 2-3 years.
You'll settle down, Will. It's your brother Print worries me. He ain't as steady as you.
Print's headstrong, that's all.
Yeah. Now, you go get the wagon and load it up at the store. Our stuff's all ready. I've got a little business here in the lawyer's office, and I'll join you.
Okay, Pa. But keep your eyes open with that Rab. I hear he's a sharper.
I can handle him. You go along now.
Sure, Pa.
Well, John Asper, what are you doing in town?
I drove in with one of my boys, Rab, after supplies.
Not often you get to Dodge.
No, it isn't. But it's a good thing I came in this time.
Why's that?
Well, last night I ran into the clerk from the land office. We got to talking about this and that and one thing and another.
Eh?
And then he happened to mention that paper you fixed for me here, the one I signed a few weeks back.
Oh, the transfer of title, you mean?
The one that said my boys own the ranch now, that they don't have to wait till I die.
What about it?
You wrote it out legal, and I signed it.
That's right, Asper.
And you said I'd have to wait a while before I could give it to the boys.
I did.
Well, now, Rab, the clerk told me I didn't have to wait any time at all.
The clerk is wrong, Asper. I'm a lawyer. I know the law.
Maybe so, Rab. But anyways, the clerk can read. And he told me that paper I signed says that my boys don't own the ranch at all. It says you do.
All right, the deed is in my name, Asper, but I don't aim to do anything about it for the moment, so don't you get all upset.
You cheated me, didn't you? I should have known better than to trust you, Rab.
Everything's perfectly legal, Asper.
Sure. Only you own my ranch.
Well, I told you can go on living there for a while.
What if I, went to court about it, Rab?
Oh, it'd take forever, and it'd cost you a lot of money, and you couldn't win anyway.
That's just about what I figured.
So you might as well just forget about it, Asper.
I wanted the boys to own that ranch right now so they'd take a bigger interest working it. And it seems their old pa went and fuddled everything.
You got outsmarted, that's all.
Yeah, I sure did. Well, Rab, I brought this here gun along, and I'm going to kill you with it.
Right? Put that gun away, Asper. You can't do that.
Last man I killed was in the spring of '69. Made up my mind then I wouldn't be killing any more men. And I sure hate to do it. But I got to.
Now, look here, Asper.
Yeah, just ain't any other way, Rab. Like you say, it's all legal, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, I've got to kill you and get it over with.
You're crazy. You'll hang for this.
Sure I will. But I'm old, and it won't matter much. And it just might learn you a lesson.
No. Asper,
I'll
no.
give you a few seconds to pray, Rab, but that's all.
No, wait, Asper. Listen to me. You can have the deed back. I'll fix it up right now. I don't want your ranch.
Oh, that wouldn't be much use, Rab. You just go tell Marshal Dillon I forced you to sign it back, and then they wouldn't re-record it.
No, I won't. I swear I won't.
And then I just have to find you and shoot you all the same. It's just easier I do it now.
No. Here. Here's the deed. I'll fix it right now, and you can go file it yourself. Now, you see, look, I'll do it now.
You know I can't read.
Then we'll take it over together and record it. Oh, no, the clerk can read it for you.
Well, all right, Rab. Go ahead, fix it.
Yes. There. Now, are you satisfied?
As soon as we get it recorded, maybe I will be.
Come on, then. We'll do it right now.
You're a pretty smart lawyer, Rab. I think this is about the last job I'll ask you to do for me. And if you didn't do this right, I'll kill you sure. Now, let's go find out.
been all week, Matt? We've missed you around here.
Yeah, Dodge's been peaceful enough, Kitty. According to Chester, anyway.
Well, at least nobody's been shot, I know of. They've come close to it a time or two, though.
Well, arguing doesn't fill any graves. Yeah, maybe someday men will learn that.
I doubt it.
Huh? You don't think very high of men, do you?
Not very. After what I've seen of them.
Well, maybe the trouble is you've never seen them when they were working. They aren't so bad, man.
That's what they're always telling me. Matt, I'd like to go to St. Louis or somewhere for a while. I need a change.
No? Why don't you go?
Oh, I don't know. Wouldn't really be any good. Alone.
Mr. Dillon?
Oh, yeah, Chester.
Oh, hello, Miss Kitty.
How are you, Chester?
Say, I just come from Doc's, Mr. Dillon. You better get over there right away. Rab's been shot.
What? Rab, the lawyer?
Yes, sir, right in his office. Doc isn't sure how long he'll be conscious.
Well, who shot him?
I don't know, sir. Some men heard the shot, and they found him there all alone. Whoever it was had got out the back way.
I'll see you later, Kitty.
Sure, Matt.
Come on, Chester. Can he talk, Chester?
Yes, sir. But Doc told him not to waste his strength until you got there.
Oh, good.
I came right away, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, sure. Now, Doc? Doc, how is he?
He's alive, Matt. And still conscious. I've done what I can for him.
The marshal's here, Rab. You feel like talking now?
Hello, Marshal.
Hello, Rab. Who shot you?
Asper. Oh, John Asper shot me.
John Asper? What? Did you have a fight with him?
He shot me in the back, Marshal. I never even saw him.
Well, how do you know who it was if you didn't see him?
I was sitting in my office, and he shot me through the window in the back.
But how do you know it was Asper?
A couple of days ago, he threatened to shoot me. That's why.
Oh?
He said he'd kill me.
Well, why did he threaten you?
Well, it was about his ranch, Marshal. I made a little mistake and got the title transfer mixed up. But I fixed that. You can ask the clerk at the land office. Everything was made okay. Asper was right there with me.
When was all this?
4 days ago, Marshal. The man's crazy. That's why he shot me. He's plumb crazy.
No, that's enough. That's enough now, Rab. You better not talk anymore now.
Doc, what do you think? How does he look?
He might pull through, Matt, but he cannot get excited.
Yeah, okay. We'll go. Let me know how he is, will you?
Oh, sure, Matt, sure.
I'd like to talk to him again when he's able. His story doesn't make much sense so far.
I found him, Mr. Dillon.
Oh?
He was just closing up the land office.
For a clerk, he works pretty late.
Yes, sir.
What'd he say?
Well, sir, he said the same thing Rab did, only it wasn't no mistake.
What?
Rab didn't make any mistake. Somehow he got old Asper to sign the deed to his ranch over to him, all clear and legal. Then 4 days ago, they came in again and signed it back to Asper. The clerk thinks Rab fooled the old man somehow on the first one. He can't read, you know.
Then maybe Asper did threaten him after all.
Yes, but if everything was made okay, why would Asper shoot him?
I don't know. Maybe we better ask him.
We going to ride out there tonight, Mr. Dillon?
No. I know John Asper. He's not going to run. Anyway, I'd like to talk to Rab again first.
Yes, sir.
are the eggs this morning, Chester?
They've gone up, both in price and age. How's Rab, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, he's still alive. Couldn't talk very long, though.
Did you find out anything?
No, same story.
Oh, say, I nearly forgot. Old man Asper was in here a few minutes ago.
Huh? Well, where is he now?
He said he'd be right back. I told him you'd like to see him.
Yeah, I would. Thanks, Chester.
Oh, that's all right, sir. Oh, I ordered some eggs for you, too.
Oh, good.
And coffee.
Here's Asper now.
Morning, Marshal.
Hello, Asper.
You, wanted to see me?
Yeah, I did. Won't you sit down?
All right. But I can't stay long. I just rode in from Coldwater, and I want to get on out the ranch before noon.
No? Then you weren't in Dodge last night?
No, I'd had to ride mighty fast to be in Dodge last night, Marshal. Seeing as how I didn't leave Coldwater till after supper. Maybe I should have waited till morning, but I figured it'd be easier on my horse to travel at night in this hot weather.
Yeah. Who did you see in Coldwater, Asper?
Shanghai Pierce himself. Made a deal with him for some cows, too, when he comes up with his next herd. Won't be for 2-3 months, though.
I see. Asper, tell me something. Did you threaten to shoot that lawyer, Rab?
How'd you know about that, Marshal?
What, did you?
Yes, I did. Why?
Well, somebody shot him last night.
They kill him?
No, he's still alive. You got any idea who might have done it?
Yeah, I might have.
But you didn't.
No, but I would have. He's a crook, Marshal. I thought I was signing the ranch over to my boys, and he put his name in instead. He changed his mind about it, though, once I got him treed.
Do your boys know about this?
Nary a word. No, now they didn't do it, Marshal.
Isn't your younger son, Prent, isn't he the wild one?
Well, Prent's a mite wild, you could say. His mother didn't live long enough to have a hand raising him, that's why. But he didn't know about Rab, Marshal. He knew nothing at all.
Might have found out somehow.
Well, I sure don't know how. I never told him. And he ain't even been to town since this started.
Neither of the boys been here?
Will, he come in with me the other day, but he didn't talk to Rab.
Ah, I see.
Now, look, Marshal, I don't want any suspicions about them boys. Now, you just ride out with me and we'll clear this up once and for all. I told Rab I'd kill him, and I would have. And then I'd come down and told you all about it, and you could have got me hung. I expected that. But the boys weren't in on it, and I don't want anybody thinking they were. Now, you come talk to them.
All right, Asper. All right. I'll ride out with you.
Sure you will. And I'll tell you about Rab. If he pulls through this time, somebody'll just shoot him again. That man's no good at all, Marshal.
You've done a lot of work on this place since I was here, Asper.
It's coming, Marshal. It's coming.
I don't blame you for not wanting to be cheated out of it.
Well, life's always uncertain, full of boils, Marshal. Never did have it easy on this ranch. Yeah. Well, I don't see the boys around. Maybe they're in the house. Come on, we'll have a look.
All right.
Boys! Will! Prince! That's you, Pa. Come on out, Will.
We got company.
Hello, Will.
Marshal.
Where's Print? I want both of you here.
He'll be around later, maybe.
Well, go get him, Will.
I got some coffee on the stove. Would you sit down for a cup, Marshal?
Will.
Yes, Pa.
You know where Print is?
No.
When did you see him last?
Yesterday. Morning.
All right, we'll find him later. Will, Rab got shot last night, and the marshal here is looking for the man who shot him. Did you do it?
No, I didn't shoot him.
You're telling the truth.
I ain't been off the ranch. That's the truth.
Satisfied, Marshal?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Now, what about Print?
Think Print might have done it, Will?
Ask him.
You know more than you're telling me, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be. Now, what do you know about me and Rab? Tell me now, Will.
I know what I heard. I was curious, so I went around back and listened at the window while you and Rab was talking. I heard you say you went and fuddled everything, and then I left. I told Print about it, too.
And why didn't you listen some more since you were snooping around? I was going to shoot him all right, but he fixed everything up. This is your ranch now, yours and Print's. You understand?
That's so?
But now it looks like Print got hot-headed and rode to town. Doesn't it, Marshal?
That could be. Anyway, I think we better find him.
I'll find him. No son of mine's going to go around shooting people.
You just said you were going to shoot that lawyer yourself, Pa.
Sure I was. It would have been the first time I've killed, but that's different. You boys wasn't raised that way, and you ain't going to start now, do you?
Now, wait a minute, Asper. Wait a minute. We don't know that Print did it.
I know dang well he did now.
But if he shows up, I'd like to talk to him, but I'm not going to go on a hunt for him unless Rab dies. You can find me in Dodge.
I'll bring him in if he comes back, Marshal.
All right. Well, so long, Will.
Bye, Marshal.
Hello, Chester, Doc.
You're about a half hour late, Matt.
Yes, I was just going to ride out after you, Mr. Dillon.
Why? What's happened?
Rab got shot all over again.
What?
He's dead for sure now.
Yeah, right in Doc's office, Mr. Dillon. We were sitting down here, me and Doc, when we heard it. But by the time we got upstairs, he'd gone, whoever done it, and Rab was dead. Shot him right on the couch and jumped out Doc's back window. Nobody saw him that I could find.
Well, he sure was determined, wasn't he? Chester, go see if you can find out if Print Asper's been in Dodge in the last couple of days.
Old Asper's youngman?
Well, he's 18, Doc.
Oh, well, yes, you're right. Oh, yeah, he's old now.
Get going, will you, Chester?
Yes, sir.
And Chester, I'll be at the Texas Trail, huh?
All right, sir.
Doc, you've known John Asper for a long time.
Oh, ever since I've been in Dodge, man.
Yeah, well, so have I. I just hope for his sake Print didn't do this.
Oh, yes, Matt. Asper's a crusty old buzzard, but he's straight as a come.
Yeah, sure is. Well, I'll see you later, Doc.
Yeah, sure, Matt.
You alone, Kitty?
Sure. Sit down, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, the place looks kind of deserted tonight.
Oh, surely. Most of the boys haven't slept off last night yet.
Kitty, tell me something.
Hmm?
You know Print Asper?
He's been in a couple of times.
When?
Oh, not for a couple of months, Matt. Why?
I'm looking for him, that's all.
Is he in trouble?
Yeah, I think so.
Dillon?
Yeah.
Charlie at the stage office saw him this morning. It was the first place he stopped.
Was he sure?
Yes, sir. He said Print walked right down the street, but wouldn't even say hello to him. Went right past him.
All right, Chester.
Matt, over there by the door. Isn't that old man Asper?
Yeah, it sure is.
Here he comes, Mr. Dillon.
Doc told me I'd find you here, Marshal.
Yeah.
He's going to ride out to take care of Will. I want you to go after Print with me.
Take care of Will? Well, what's happened?
Just about a half hour after you left, Marshal. I was out at the barn, and then I heard Print and Will arguing, and I started for the house. But before I got there, Print pulled a gun on Will and shot him. Then he rode away again. I did what I could for Will, and then I come for the doc.
Well, is Will hurt bad?
I don't know, Marshal. But Doc can fix him if anyone can. Let's go now. We'll get fresh horses at the ranch.
Yeah, all right. Chester, go get our horses, huh?
Yes, sir. I taught Print everything I know about the prairie, Marshal. It's gonna be a long ride.
Asper was right. It was, sure enough, a long ride. We cut Print's trail just beyond the ranch and followed it west for 2 days. The old man tracked like an Indian. To determine how fresh the trail was, he'd spent a long time at certain places just looking at grass blades or scrutinizing the fine little marks made on bare ground by insects or calculating on the age of a doodlebug hole. He was slow, but as certain as death, and we never lost the trail once. On the 4th day, he announced that the tracks were just a few hours old, and we rode faster. About noon, we stopped behind a small hummock and walked forward to where we could see a cabin 100 or so yards off, surrounded by high brown prairie grass.
He's in there, Marshal.
Are you sure?
Yes. He's decided to make his stand from there. It's a good spot.
It sure is. He's got a clear field all the way around.
Well, let's surround him and wait it out.
Oh, no, that's too slow. And I'm in a hurry to get back to Will. He's still alive.
Well, I'll put a couple of shots in there. Maybe he's ready to give up.
I doubt it. But go ahead. He'll never give up.
All right. Let's spread out and rush him. Then.
No, Marshal. That'd just mean more bloodshed. He'd get one of us sure. I got a better idea.
Oh?
We'll burn him out.
What?
Look at that grass. It's as dry as tinder. All we have to do is fire it and take him when he comes out.
He'll come out shooting.
I know. I'll be waiting.
Look, Asper, Chester and I will stay here and starve him out, huh? Oh, why don't you ride on back?
No, I don't figure it that way, Marshal. Thank you just the same.
All right.
Oh, the cabin's downwind. We can fire it from right here.
Okay. You and I'll move out a little, Chester. And, let go any time.
Yes, sir.
Look, Asper. I'll do the shooting, huh? I can knock him down without killing him.
He'd only hang. We'll all shoot, Marshal.
Okay. I bunched up a handful of brown grass and lit it, and the wind did the rest, and carried the flame springing higher and higher toward the cabin. It started down from Chester, too, and from where the old man lay. It was 4 or 5 feet high when it reached the cabin, which caught fire at once and was soon burning fast. No man could live in there for long. And after a minute or two, Prent ran out the door and came toward us past the flames.
Throw down your gun, Prent. You're caught there. All right, Marshal. Chester?
All right. Come on, Chester. Oh, watch it. He may not be dead.
Is he dead, Marshal?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Asper, but I was afraid he'd kill one of us if I didn't get him first.
I saw your shot, Marshal. You hit him in the shoulder. On purpose, I figure. I killed him. I had to. Now let's get him buried. I want to get back to Will.
We buried Prent near the charred ruins of the cabin and then started the long ride back to the ranch. On the way, the old man never mentioned Prent, but talked endlessly of the prairie and his long life on it.
He knew the land the way a preacher knows the Bible, and he accepted it and its ways with the same mixture of faith and fear. When we finally reached the ranch, Chester and I waited outside the house while the old man went in alone. After a moment, Doc appeared on the porch, smiling. And then the three of us rode back to Dodge.
Mr. Dillon, I've been thinking.
Yeah?
We ought to renovate this place.
What?
Renovate it?
Oh, blast it, Chester.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I was trying to write and listen to you at the same time. That's all. It can't be done.
Well,
Marshal.
Yeah, what's the matter, Lee?
I'm drunk.
the way he was walking, I thought he'd been shot.
No, I'm not shot.
I never saw you drunk before, Lee. Well, would you like a little coffee or something?
Ah. There's my gun. Now lock me up.
What?
Lock me up, I said.
What, you mean you want to sleep in jail here?
I do. You keep my gun.
Are there any blankets out there, Chester?
Well, there's one, Mr. Dillon.
No, that's enough. Okay, Lee. Just follow Chester, then.
I will. Marshal, I come here to prevent a killing.
Oh?
I'm drunk enough to want to kill him, and I'm sober enough to know I'm too drunk to kill him. You understand?
To kill who, Lee?
Jim Salter. That's who. My foreman.
Is he in town, too?
He is. At the Texas Trail. And let him stay there. Keep him out of here. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, right in there, Mr. Dargan. I never saw Mr. Dargan like that before, Mr. Dillon.
No. I wonder what he was fighting with Salter about.
Maybe Salter started it. Maybe he's drunk, too.
Well, if he is, knowing him, he'll be after someone else to fight with now. I think I'll go take a look, Chester.
All right, sir.
Oh, Chester, if Lee wakes up, just give him another drink, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, how come you're alone, Kitty?
Being alone isn't so bad, Matt, sometimes.
Oh? Buy you a drink?
No, thanks.
I don't see Jim Salter anywhere.
I wouldn't complain about that.
Well, then he was here, huh?
Sitting right where you are. And he'll be back any minute.
How drunk is he, Kitty?
Oh, he isn't very drunk. It might be an improvement.
It'd break his heart to hear you talk like that.
If he has one. Here he comes now. Let's ask him.
You look sober enough.
You move in fast, Marshal.
Sit down, Salter. Sit down.
Seeing as how it's my table, I will.
I ran into Lee Dorgan. He was pretty mad about something.
That so?
Yeah. But it's all right as long as you're not looking for trouble.
Me, Marshal? I never look for trouble.
Neither does Lee.
Now, you know those Southerners, Marshal. They're always getting insulted about something.
You've been foreman on Lee's ranch for over a year now, Salter. This the first time he's wanted to kill you?
Is that what he said?
That's what I heard him say.
Oh, yeah. Well, Marshal Lee's had a little bad luck with his cattle, that's all. When he's had a drink or two, he needs someone to blame it on. You know how it is with these greenhorns.
No. How is it?
If it weren't for me, he wouldn't have as many cows as he's got. Now he's lost a few strays, he's all upset.
Well, as long as it doesn't end in gunplay.
Oh, me and Lee get along fine when he's sober.
Yeah.
You have to leave, Matt?
I'm afraid so, Kitty.
Then I'm going to bed.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't do that.
Who says I can't, mister? Good night, Matt.
Good night, Kitty.
Well, I'll be.
Mighty nice of you, Chester, to bring me all that coffee.
Oh, don't mention it, Mr. Dargan. I had a hangover once myself.
Here's your gun, Lee.
Thank you, Marshal.
You, still feel like killing Jim Salter?
I'll kill any man that cheats me. That's how I was brought up, and that's how I am.
So?
I guess it's just instinct that tells me I'm being robbed by him, Marshal. I got no proof at all. None whatsoever.
What is it, Lee? Don't your cattle tally up right?
Look. I came out here from Alabama 18 months ago. I bought a ranch. I'm trying to raise beef. I've learned a little, but I can see it takes years to be a cattleman. Meantime, I'm green and I'm an easy mark, but I'm not so dumb I can't count. Marshal, I branded over 300 calves last spring and fall, and more than half of them are missing right now.
Stolen?
I don't know, Marshal. I've asked every rancher and every buyer around here to be on the lookout for my brand that hasn't turned up once.
Well, why do you think Salter has anything to do with it?
Instinct, I told you. I just don't trust him. Nothing more, but it's enough.
Well, then why don't you fire him?
Pride, I suppose. I want to beat him at his own game, whatever it is.
Well, good luck at it, Lee.
Well, I need more than luck, Marshal. I need a little help. I just don't know enough about this business.
You're asking me to help you?
I am.
But how?
Come out to the ranch. Take a look around. Maybe you'll see something I can't see.
Well, I don't know.
We're branding again tomorrow, Marshal. Come out then. You got to help me. I'll be ruined if this goes on anymore.
All right, Lee, I'll come. But, will you promise me one thing?
What's that?
If Salter does prove to be guilty, you won't try to kill him?
No, I can't promise that. I respect the law, Marshal, but I got my own code, too. Thanks, just...
Now, wait a minute, Lee. You're stubborn, but I don't think you deserve being ruined. All right, I'll come.
Thank you, Marshal. Thank you. You know, the reason I got drunk last night was because I just felt so almighty helpless. Mad and helpless.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
See you tomorrow.
Good morning, Marshal Dillon.
Good morning, Mr. Peters.
And what can I do for you this morning?
Well, I'm interested in some brands that you got registered here.
Oh, you don't mean to tell me that you're going into the cattle business, Marshal?
No, not likely. I just want to see what new brands have been registered in the past, 12 or 13 months.
Well, certainly, Marshal. 1865, 67, 68, 68. Yeah. Here it is. There you are. That's the official brand book for the last 2 years.
Oh, thank you.
You can start anywhere you like in it.
Well, maybe you remember, Mr. Peters.
Mm-hmm.
Has Jim Salter got a brand registered?
Salter?
Yeah, Jim Salter.
The fellow who works for Lee Dargan?
That's right.
Yeah. Last summer. July, I believe. Look there.
July?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, July. Yeah. Salter, James Salter, July 14th. Bar S.
That's it. Bar S, yes, indeed. How's he doing?
Fine, Mr. Peters, fine. Thanks for the help.
Oh, anytime, Marshal, anytime at all. That's what I'm paid for.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Marshal.
When we weren't working, most of the cattle buyers in town spent their time drinking toddy and telling lies at the Dodge House. And there I learned that a number of Bar S calves had been sold in the fall and some more of them in the spring. They remembered because it wasn't often a man sold only calves, and also because the brands were newly burned on. But they said the brands were clean, and there was no question of any previous marking having been altered. I figured Salter was a whole lot smarter than the ordinary rustler. And the next day I found out just how smart.
They sure got their branding fire set far enough apart, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, they have.
There's Jim Salter now at this first fire.
Oh, we'll stop and say hello, Chester.
All right, let it go, boys.
That's interesting.
What is?
I'll tell you later. You don't have to stop work just because we're here, Salter.
That's all right, Marshal.
Yeah, but you didn't brand that one. You just have to cut him out and rope him again.
Iron's cold anyway.
Oh, you got another iron there in the fire.
We'll get him branded, Marshal. What are you doing out there anyway?
Oh, we needed a change of scenery, so we thought we'd pay Lee a visit. Where is he?
Working the fire down yonder.
You sure do keep your fires separated.
Anything else you fellas object to?
Well, no, I wasn't objecting. I was just making an entirely impersonal observation, that's all.
Well, go do your observing on Lee. You came to see him.
Salter, I'd starve plumb to death before I'd ever work around you.
You sure would, Chester.
On, Jim. Wasting time.
See you later, Marshal.
Yeah.
Okay, Adams, bring another one out. Okay. Yeah.
He's smart, that Salter.
To me, he's just mean and downright graceless.
Well, he's that too, Chester.
Oh? You got something figured out, Mr. Dillon?
I got it all figured out.
What?
Salter's stealing cattle, all right. I know just how he's doing it. But the problem now is how to handle Lee Dorgan and that code of his. I wouldn't want to see Lee hung for murder.
No, sir. I surely wouldn't either.
Hello. Hi, Marshal. Hold it, man. How are you, Marshal? Chester?
Fine, Lee.
We're about through for the day. Why don't you ride on down to the house?
Okay.
I'll be along directly.
We stopped by Salter's fire back there.
Oh, how are they doing?
Fine. Tell me something, Lee. Does Salter always work alone with those same two cowboys?
Yeah, come to think of it, he does. Why?
I was just curious. We'll see you at the house, Lee.
Sure, Marshal. Tell the cook I'll string him up and supper isn't ready when we get there.
All right, I'll do that.
Well, Not a bad house Mr. Dargan's got here, Mr. Dillon.
That's fine. Let's sit on the porch here, Chester. They'll be along soon.
Yes, sir. Mr. Dillon?
Yeah.
I've give up trying to figure it out about Salter. You'll just have to explain it.
Well, I told you he sold fresh branded calves under the Bar S mark that he's got registered.
Yes, sir.
Well, those were Lee's calves. Did you ever hear of using a cold brand, Chester?
A cold brand?
Yeah. You can either put it on through a wet blanket or you can just keep the iron hot enough to burn hair and press it down lightly so it won't scorch the hide.
Well,
Looks like a fine brand for a few months. That is until the calf sheds.
I'll be doggone.
And then the calf's as unmarked as the day it got dropped. You can brand it at leisure with any mark that appeals to you, like a Bar S, for example.
So that's what Salter's been doing.
And he was about to put a cold iron on that calf a while ago when we rode up.
Sure.
He works at a distance from Dorgan because the other cowboys had noticed right away what he's up to. Poor Lee. He's sure right about being green at this business.
Well, he's going to learn now, Mr. Dillon.
No, Chester, I can't tell him.
Well, why not?
Lee meant it when he said he'd kill Salter if he had any proof. And if he did that, he'd be worse off than he is now.
Well, then why don't you just arrest that man?
Yeah, Judge would let him off, I'm afraid. Cold brand can be laid to carelessness. Of course, we could wait a couple of months and catch him doing his Bar S branding. That's risky, too, though.
Well, what are you going to do, Mr. Dillon?
I don't know, Chester. But I'll have to figure something out by morning.
I don't understand it, Marshal. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but I asked for help, so all right, I'll do as you say.
Then call Salter over here and tell him.
Okay, Marshal.
Salter? Salter!
Yeah.
Come over here.
What do you want, Lee? We're already late this morning.
I'm going to make a change in our branding setup, Salter.
What?
I've decided it'll be faster from now on. We all work from one fire instead of two.
What for?
You and Adams and Smith will work alongside the rest of us, that's all.
Whose idea is this, anyway?
Those are my orders.
Oh? You still talk like a Confederate colonel, don't you?
That'll do, Salter.
Sure. This is for you, Marshal. I never did like you anyway.
It must have been pretty hard on Salter that day, having to put a permanent brand on Lee Dorgan's calves with a good hot iron. But he had no choice, and he did it. About noon, Chester and I said goodbye and rode back to Dodge. I figured that'd be the end of Lee's trouble. But 2 nights later, while Doc and I were taking our ease at the Alafraganza, I found out I was wrong.
Yeah, it's like that ignorant cowboy got a letter from his sweet girlfriend in St. Louis, Matt.
Well, all right, Doc. What did the letter say?
Oh, well, she mentioned that she'd found a nice room with running water.
Yeah.
Running water. And so this uncivilized son of the prairie wrote her back to get rid of that Indian at once or our engagement is off. He thought that, you understand that now, don't you, Matt?
For that, the next drink's on you, Doc.
Sure, Matt, sure.
And will you get it as the bartender for a couple of good cigars?
I will, as soon as I finish. Oh, see, that was the fun. Say, I thought you left Lee Dargan out at his ranch.
What?
Just came in the door. Must be looking for you. He's coming this way, man.
Yeah.
What's that under his arm? Oh, looks like a blanket.
Hello, Lee. Sit down.
Marshal, Doc.
Oh, how are you, Lee?
What are you doing in town? You all through, Brandon?
Yeah, we're through.
Oh, how'd it go?
Yeah. Take a look at this blanket, Marshal.
Huh? It's all marked up, isn't it?
It sure is. And it's burned with my brand all over.
Where'd you find this, Lee?
One of my men was riding by the place where Salter and his had his branding fire, Marshal. His horse kicked it up. They'd half buried it there.
And he showed it to you, is that it?
That's it. And he explained all about cold branding to me at the same time.
I see. Where's Salter now, Lee?
And he got wind I was on to him and left, Marshal. I think he's in Dodge with those two who worked with him, Adams and Smith.
And, you're looking for him?
And I'm looking for him. But I'm telling you so's you can look, too. That blanket's enough evidence even for the law, I figure.
Along with the witnesses that'd convict him. But, I'll find him, Lee.
Better hurry, Marshal. I might find him first.
Lee, you'll stand trial if you kill him.
I'm not worried about that. So long, Marshal.
Why didn't you take his gun, Matt? So's he couldn't get in any trouble.
You just find another one, Doc. Lee's a mighty determined man.
Yes, I can see that.
I'll take that drink another time, Doc. I got work to do.
Sure, Matt.
Oh, do me a favor. Will you drop this blanket off at the office for me?
Oh, you bet you're laughing. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Dillon? Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, what is it, Chester?
There's something wrong, sir. I just saw Salter and two men walk up behind Lee Dargan over there and grab his gun.
What? Where are they?
They were headed toward Kelly's stable. I thought I'd better find you first.
Come on.
What are they doing in Dodge, anyway?
Lee's on to him, Chester. He knows the whole story now. And they know he knows it.
Well, then somebody's going to get killed, sure.
Yeah, it looks that way. All right. Stay behind me, Chester.
That's the only door to the stable. They'll have to come out there, sir.
Yeah, I know. But we're going in after them. Easy now. The entrance to Kelly's stable was open, but there was no light showing. Chester and I stepped quickly around the frame of the door, and we stopped just inside, waiting for our eyes to get used to the darkness. We could hear voices in the back where the men were saddling up. And then, suddenly, we both saw it at the same time.
The first stall, Mr. Dillon. Look.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Dargan. They hung him.
Yeah, they just did it. He can't be dead yet. Here, take my knife and cut him down. You can climb up on the feed box. I'll cover you from here. Now, hurry.
Yes, sir, I'll hurry.
Maybe Dargan got loose somehow. Get up front there and take a look, both of you. I'll finish saddling up.
Okay, Salter. Come on, Smith.
Stay in here, Chester. Don't move.
Mr. Dargan's breathing.
When they come up, we'll jump them. I'll take Adams. Now, quiet now.
I don't see him. Rope must have broke. Yeah. Let's hit him on the head and have done with it. Yeah, might as well. You do it, Smith. I'll wait here. Yeah, okay. I'll see if
You all right, Chester?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now keep low.
What's going on up there? Adams? Smith?
Mr.
Dargan's coming to now. He's breathing easier.
Keep him quiet. Hold him down if he tries to get up. Salter will be along in a minute.
Yes, sir.
What are you two doing? Answer me, blast you! Who's in there?
Throw down your gun, Salter.
Who's that?
It's Matt Dillon. Now do as I say.
Sure, Marshal. Here it is.
All right, Chester. Get the guns off of Adams and Smith. We don't have to worry about Salter.
All right, sir.
Lee? Lee, how are you?
Oh, it's good to breathe again, Marshal. I was about gone.
Well, you're all right. We got him. And Salter's dead. You won't have any trouble now.
No. But it's not easy, the way you people educate a man out here.
Well, if it was easy, Lee, anyone could manage.
Well, thanks, Marshal.
Yeah. Sure.